Well, my boots certainly do get me about, and as you can see, I'm out with my friend Brian. We had a couple of days in Wales. Not the Loch Ness Monster, it can't be, because it's in Wales, isn't it? That must be a Wales serpent, a lake serpent. We spent 2 days in Wales, and very nice it was too. This is LLANDRINDOD Wells, and Brian is sitting in the restaurant overlooking the lake having a cup of tea, and I'm going to do a little walk around the town. These buildings here were garages and showrooms, and right round the top is all lions. And that's not a lion's corner house, they're real lions, stone lions, giant lions. Marvellous, the architecture. Some beautiful architecture in this town as well, I'll tell you. And we're going to have a look at the UK's longest wisteria plant along the front of a hotel. And what I like is all those Victorian style overhangs. Now we're just going down through this arch. This is under the railway, single track railway line. And this is all pure spring water running down towards the well, and there is one of the springs. You can have a little drop of water. Pays you not to have too much, I think. It's like the spa waters, supposed to be good for your health, but sometimes they weren't as good as what you thought. Anyway, come up here now onto what is called Lover's Leap. I particularly like that property with all the wrought iron and the shields round there, and most unusual this one, look, with all the brickwork, and then the timber framed piece looks as if it was a last minute addition. And a beautiful Commodore hotel. I understand that a lot of these hotels are now apartments and living accommodation for refugees and European immigrants. This is the centre, and the bandstand there. Just off there is a street with a very old-fashioned ironmongery shop, Bradley's. In fact, there's some lovely old-fashioned shops along this particular street, very nice. Look at this one. Wow. And this is down Railway Crescent, naturally leading to the railway station. Beautiful, unusual buildings. Now have a look at this. This is a hotel, but look up to the centre point where that little, go back to it in a minute, the Glen Usk Hotel. And just a moment, yes, look up there. Now that's all leaded. What's it built for? Is it built for a lookout post or what? Fantastic how that is built up there. Imagine in today's health and safety laws the cost of getting up there to re-lead it or something like that. And this is a little memorial. We have the Metropole Hotel, and this is the longest wisteria. There it is, look, all along the front of the property. A lot of work going on inside this hotel when we was there, 2006. Had a very nice lunch. And that is a cockerel on top of a church tower. This building here is council offices. Grand building, isn't it? Well, we're back up near the lake now, and we're going to jump in the car and we're going to Builth, which is about 7 miles down the road southwards, and we're going to visit a friend of Brian's who is a wood carver, amongst other things. This guy was recently commissioned to do some work for someone who was doing a display at the Chelsea Flower Show. There he is, David. Most unusual guy. When we go inside, you'll see he doesn't only do wood carving, he also does painting, portraits, all sorts of things. Just amazing what some people can do with their time, and he's in no rush whatsoever. Does it just when he feels like it. No sweat. His studio actually is on the banks of the River Wye, and we'll look at that. Marvellous and a beautiful painting, isn't it? Don't think he'd be interested in selling any of them either. Yes, I was going to say that his studio is on the banks of the River Wye, and that is looking out of his studio window. And apparently when logs come floating down the river, he goes out and gets hold of the logs and brings them in, allows them to dry, and then does carvings. Now that is a portrait, and that girl could well be looking out of his studio window. I think that is beautiful. And there's the piece of timber that he's working on at the present time. Well, Brian and I were staying at this hotel, the Lion Hotel, a few hundred years old, so I thought you might like to have a look round there. It's one of the stained glass windows in the dining room. That's one of David's carvings there. This hotel is highly recommended, and it has been thoroughly modernised inside to the very highest of standards, and the food is first class. You couldn't fault the food. So I thought you might like to have a look at the food. That is mushrooms in a white parsley and prawn sauce. I can't remember, that was Brian's starter, so I'm sorry I don't remember what it was that he had, but that's his main course. That's 2 halves of a duck there, and mine was about a 10-inch halibut folded in half, covered in a prawn sauce with whole prawns in with the sauce. Absolutely first class. Shall we go to the toilet now? We'll go to the gents first, shall we? And now we'll go to the ladies. I think they're lovely, I really do. So there you have the Lion Hotel, and just across the road is the River Wye, which runs down and joins up with the River Severn. The River Severn being the longest river in the UK. That bridge is about 400 years old, but it was widened in the 1920s. Very low water levels at the moment, but everywhere now. That's David's studio there on the bank. That's where we looked out the window at the river. the river has been known to rise right up to the level of his studio windows. Nice painting on the wall there, and on this landed arms, I just like the woodwork up there, and also on this building, the lovely fascia boards, all hand carved. They would have been at least 100 years ago. Frontage of this butcher's shop is well over 100 years old. I was very impressed with the brickwork on this building. And there's people there painted on the wall waiting for the bus, all queuing up with their shopping. I think actually Brian got in the queue as well and waited for the bus, but it never ever came. Well done, Brian, you look great there. I like this shot. This was actually the following morning, and there's a fisherman in the middle of the arch there, look, probably trying to catch his breakfast. So what I intend doing now is to walk along the riverbank and then join onto another river which flows into this one, and do a little town tour. That young lady there is a school teacher searching for all kinds of little insects and things to take back to the kids in school to teach them about Mother Nature. This is the River Irfon. Standing on the bridge near the river, over the River Irfon, is this nice building, which I thought in my mind could once have been a toll house. And we're now looking down on what we'll call the Irfon Rapids as the water comes tumbling down the hillside. And coming back now towards the town centre, a nice seat there in the front of that building, and we come right down. We've climbed right up, of course, to get the pictures of the river and everything, and we're now slowly coming back down the hill to the town, and you'll see there's quite a number of churches. Well, that of course is the War Memorial, and also in this park is a stone circle. The post office here, well, that says it all, doesn't it? King Edward was built before he actually abdicated, before he actually became king. And, but that's not such an old building. We're back actually to that ornate building where I said the brickwork was beautiful. That is the bank house with a front extension, still a bank. All these churches are within a stone's throw of each other. I think there's about 6. That's rather nice, isn't it, for the rugby club? Could have once have been the Swan Hotel or the Swan Pub. That is an old mill building converted now into flats. Imagine years ago there'd have been horses and carts and a big hoisting materials right up to the top of the building. Coming round now from that building, we're going downhill to the castle mound. Yes, Builth once had a castle. Many hundreds of years ago, mind you. And this is just across the road from the market hall. This is a function centre, cinema, built in 1877, market hall I would think. A very nice ornate building with some lovely stonework on it. Right, I'm going to take you now to one of my favourites. There's Brian talking to some security guards, and this is Builth Road railway station. There was once 2 stations here. This is the high level one, and underneath where you're looking down the line another railway went, which was the Cambrian line. This is the line that's still in use, comes down from Shrewsbury down to South Wales. Well, those gardens look a bit tired, don't they? Tired? Yes? Right, okay. Just outside the railway is the station is Railway Terrace, and these houses overlook what were originally railway sidings and also a railway parcels shed. The wagons would be shunted into there to the right hand side and unloaded undercover and then brought down this road past the railway cottages by horse and cart. And we're now down to where the level where the Cambrian Railway went underneath the one from Shrewsbury, and the station here is now the Cambrian Arms Public House. Now imagine, once upon a time trains ran across here, and where Brian is standing, that was the platform. There's the Cambrian Arms as it was when it was a railway station. And now look at that. Can you? It's difficult to imagine. Look, houses at the back there have gone. There's an extension now on the front of the Cambrian Arms pub, but that's the 2 stations as they were many, many years ago. We went inside to visit the landlady. Brian knows this landlady very well, and I think that's a relative who regularly comes to feed the dogs. Well, there you go. That's your look round Llandod and Builth. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed it. Brian and I had a lovely time, and maybe you'll join us again in the future.